Well, hello everyone. I am here with a very special person, which is a caregiver. And today's topic is going to be the dangers of being a caregiver. If you're not aware that you fall in that category and you're loving people, there are certain things that work against you unless you're aware of them and you address them with responsibility, with the ability to respond to them. And caregivers could get really hurt because they're giving from an open heart. I discovered that I was a caregiver, and because I grew up in that energy, I had someone that really cared about me, but then I didn't have that energy alone, right? So I was able to do things differently, and then realize that, oh my goodness, I have traits of a caregiver. I just never identified myself with it. So right now I'm going to have a conversation with a real caregiver that might have been struggling with their habits connected to health in terms of nutrition, exercise, mental well-being, and we're just trying to understand what is it that stops caregivers for giving themselves the care that they want, and what is it that if we could change it right away, it would change, and what is the reality of making that change. So I had to bribe my caregiver here today by giving them ketones. They're like, no, I don't want to do it. I'm like, how about I'm going to bribe you. Take ketones and you'll be okay. And then they're already out here, so it worked. And me, I'm just trying to make sure that I enjoy it as much as possible. So you see, I don't have it in a regular glass. Another thing that caregivers will do, they'll give themselves like a little glass. See how I give them a little glass? But for me, I'm like, I'm a recovering caregiver. I give myself the best care possible because I care about others, right? And that's actually the thing. There's a fear around that. It's selfish if I maybe give more to myself than others. But a caregiver never realizes that it is impossible for you to be selfish. You're a caregiver. It's impossible. So it's going to seem selfish when you give yourself that care, but in reality, you're doing the best possible thing. And this is what we're going to talk about today. So here's a question to the caregiver. What is your question about if you could change anything about the habits that you had about health and we could change it right now? What is the question that you would ask that expert that could change it like this for you?
That I want so much to do a lot of things for people that I neglect myself.
Okay, so you want to do so much for other people that you neglect yourself. You're not alone with this, and I understand this. What would you like to change about it, or what specifically about this would you like to turn around, or you have a question about?
I would like to be able to do the things for the others and have time for myself also.
Okay, what do you think that you would need to do to be able to take care of others? What do you think others really need from you instead of what you want to give them?
I want to give them time to be able to talk with them, not
Okay.
just giving them medication, but have time to be with them 100%.
So you want to be present with them.
Yes,
Okay. So you feel like they would need like your full presence.
yes.
Okay.
Not being in a hurry when I'm with them.
Okay.
I
Okay.
feel bad.
Okay. Now, that's very important that you mention that because there's a lot of conflicting things that caregivers don't usually understand. And one of them is that, let's ask you that question. What hurts you about this approach? About what you tried doing, what ended up hurting you? And that's why we're not showing your face here. What has hurt you a lot in the past? And I could probably know what it is because I'm a caregiver also. What really gets under your skin when you're caring for others with your sincere intentions?
I don't want to let them to leave them being alone with questions or things that I would like to help with, and I don't have enough time for that, and I feel bad after. I want to go back, but I don't have time to go back.
What do you mean? Give me an example.
If example, when I'm a patient or person, I
Yes.
want to help with medication or and I feel like the person want to talk,
Okay, okay.
and it's like some kind of unfinished business.
Okay. Okay. So you want to give your attention to people so that if they feel like they need to express something, you're always there for them.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And you did mention something about being completely there for them. Okay.
Yes.
Now, me growing up in the house with a caregiver, this is something that ended up hurting me growing up with a caregiver. And it's this is that everyone is different and everyone needs different types of things. Sometimes they will need that full attention, but sometimes they just need to feel a good presence, right? Sometimes when you ask someone a question about how you could help them, or they come and ask you, hey, you know what? I have this thing I need to talk to you about. I like being there to give them good advice, but I realize that if I could give them my presence in person instead of just over a phone, if it's possible, just listening to them would do more benefits to them than trying to give them good advice, right? So it's the presence of who I am being right now that understands their pain that will do greater for them. So my pain growing up with that caregiver is that I want that caregiver to be radiating of joy. And it's going to be like a good aroma in the room because I'm someone that feels energy. So when someone's well with themselves, it does everything for me. I don't need their advice unless I go and ask them an advice. But when I feel like caregivers suffering and moaning in pain because they did not give themselves that care, that it poisons my atmosphere, and it hurts me. I feel it in my bones because I'm empathic. I could feel other people's wellness. I could feel other people's energy. So it ruins me from the inside. And how can I not care? I'm a caregiver. So feeling other people in pain, but only they could do something about it. Only they have the tools to look inside of them to see what they need to do next. They need to ask questions of what can I do? But caregivers feel like they got it together. They feel like, you know what, it's okay, have my water. But if you are dehydrated, like how can you be well? So it's gonna be like, okay, here, I'm gonna have the half first, and do you want the other half of my water? Now we're both hydrated. So it's a habit in the mind that falls in the category of noble neglect. For something noble, I have to be there for others. I'm neglecting myself. But then in reality, you cannot even give the 100% that you wanted to give, because every day that you do this, you're reducing 1 percentile of your full power and full capacity. And the illnesses that caregivers end up having is from that strategy of wanting to give to others. They literally are making themselves sick at helping other people. But the best way to help someone else is by how you take care of yourself and showing them that example without talking about how you take care of yourself. And the courage it takes a caregiver to ask questions about things they assume that they know but they don't, or how can they do it differently and actually do it, would inspire a huge change in other people because they care so much. If they could care with themselves, they could change the world. And I know that would have helped me a lot growing up. And it really hurts seeing someone that is in pain and you could see in their habits it's not going to change. So that's the courage that caregivers could have. And for me, my self-esteem, I was wearing it outside of myself. Caregiver, as a trainer caregiver, it's like I have to make sure I take care of everyone. I took care of my health in a way, but what I didn't have was that my self-esteem and my self-worth was in my clients being in the perfect shape possible. And if one day we did a checkup on their health and their body composition and they didn't have the good results, I suffered. It's like as if they were not allowed to make mistakes. It's like I did something bad. I'm not good. So so it was selfish in a way. So do I really care about them, or is it a very weird way of being selfish? So I take care of others to justify my worth. But I'm not taking care of my worth, and you know what? There's nothing better I could have done than this. I'm detached from the outcome. I know I'm in integrity with everything I could have done. Could I have done something better? Yes or no? Yes, I did all I could. I took care of myself. I was fully present with them, and I'm peaceful with whatever happens from there on. I didn't have that. I had to learn that.
Wow.
Does that help?
Wow, that's helped a lot.
And it's actually selfish.
Yes.
You're neglecting yourself for something noble, but in reality, it's super selfish. And you don't want to be selfish,
No,
right?
no.
So by actually taking care of yourself first, in the best possible way, without even speaking, you're changing the world. Because you care so much that by caring for yourself, it amplifies the positive energy that you're sending around you. It changes everyone's life while you're in your silence.
Wow. Thank you.